Welcome back everyone to the Bears Profit Plays YouTube channel. Today is Sunday, September 15th, and I'm back breaking down some games for the Sunday slate in the NFL. Had some troubles on Thursday night, but we're going to try to bounce back in a big way. We're going to be breaking down 5 total games, 3 player props, 8 total plays for Sunday, and I've got to say, I love everything on the board today. If you guys enjoy the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe down below. Hope everybody has a great Sunday, and let's break down some ball. All right, guys, let's get into this recap graphic from Thursday night. 0-3 day. This one hurt. Tua going down really hurt everything. Had them over 48.5 points. It was 31-10 on the Buffalo 4-yard line. Miami had a 1st and 10 whenever Tua went down. If I was an asshole and I'm not a nice person, I would say if Tua stayed in the game, they probably would have scored there. It probably would have been back and forth battle. Probably would have hit his overpassing yards. Keon Coleman might have got a few catches. Buffalo had to maybe throw the ball in the second half because Miami was coming back. But I'm not an asshole. I hope Tua is okay. That's like the 3rd or 4th bad injury he's had to his head, and they've got the Guardian cap. I don't know if he should wear it or not, but I don't know if he's ever going to play football again. I mean, he's got some decisions to make. He got paid. That's the good thing. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you're not happy. I'm not happy from the game on Thursday night, but again, we never root for injuries. I hope he's okay, and I'm sure he will be okay. He got off the field, walked it off, so hopefully he's back in the lineup for Miami in a couple weeks. Make sure he doesn't have a concussion or severe concussion, or he retires. So let's take a look at the leaderboard. 0-3 day, not ideal, but we're going to back today for Sunday. Like everything on the board today, we're going to start with the Panthers going up against the Chargers. The Chargers are coming off a big win against the Raiders. They won that game by 12 points. They put up 22. The defense, they allowed 10. The Panthers, they're coming off a horrible loss to open up the season. Maybe the worst possible outcome for the Panthers in that game, because now they've got no hope whatsoever. They lost 47-10 going up against the Saints. They also lost one of their best run stoppers in this game, Derek Brown. He's been ruled out for the season. This is going to be a big problem in this game for them because Harbaugh, he's the head coach now. The culture has changed for the Chargers in just one off season. This is now a hard-nosed football team. I really believe that Jim Harbaugh has structured this Chargers team to just become Michigan of the NFL. He has a really good quarterback, Justin Herbert. Didn't use him a ton in the first game against the Raiders, only 144 yards. He did have a touchdown, but it is nice to have a guy back there in the backfield that he can just go to. If he doesn't get it on 1st down and 2nd down, he can throw the ball on 3rd down. The Chargers last week, they went to the ground game a lot with J.K. Dobbins and Edwards, splitting some carries. J.K., 135 yards, 10 carries, a touchdown in his debut with the new team. It looks like Ladd McConkey out of Georgia is also going to be a pretty good target for Herbert all season long. I really like what I saw of the Chargers. I know the Raiders probably aren't the best team in the world, but that defense, they are frisky. They were frisky last season. The Chargers, they put up 22 points on them. This line, it does kind of stink. I'll give you that. But I'm going to take the cheese here. Thought it'd be like 7.5. We're going to get it at 4.5. I just don't see anything positive out of the Panthers out of week number 1. The offensive line, they stink. They can't stop the run at all on defense. The Chargers are going to do what they do in this game. They're going to run the ball every single down. Give me the Chargers. Minus 4.5 as a play. They take this one 28-10. For the next play, we're going to be looking at the Rams going up against the Arizona Cardinals. I think both these teams can put up a lot of points, even though the Rams, they are dealing with a lot of injuries already in week number 1. They lost Puka Nacua in the opener to the Lions. It doesn't look like it's going to be a season-ending injury, but he is going to be out in this game, probably a couple more games. Even the Rams head coach, Sean McVay, said in the press conference after the game that they lost a lot of guys already in week number 1, but he is very happy with the way some of the guys stepped up and played in that game. I like Matthew Stafford. I think he's a gunslinger. I think he's undervalued. And going up against the Cardinals, he should be able to still find his way down the field. We're seeing a lot of open receivers in that Cardinals secondary. The Cardinals last week held a 17-3 advantage early in the game, but then that defense in the second half, they've got no answer for the Bills. I do like what Kyler Murray did early in that game. They didn't get a lot of points in the second half, only 3, but they did have 18 first downs going up against Buffalo. They just couldn't turn any of that into points. I think we're going to see both quarterbacks find a way to move the ball up and down the field. We just need them to convert in the red zone. Give me the over 47.5. Rams, they find a way to win this game late, 28-27 final score. For the last play for the graphics side, we're going to be looking at the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Bengals. The Bengals, who looked horrible last week, one of the worst teams in the NFL last week. If the Panthers weren't playing, I think everybody could agree the Bengals were the worst team last week. They're going into Arrowhead Stadium, which has been famously called Burrowhead Stadium for the Bengals over the last couple years. The Bengals were also in the news this week talking about the Chiefs players, talking about how the team to fear in the AFC, even though they're going on the road to face off against the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And trust me, I'm sick of it just as much as you guys are. I live in Kansas. It's horrible trying to talk to these Kansas City Chiefs fans whenever you're not a fan of the team, especially whenever you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I'm being completely honest. I don't think the Bengals stand a chance in this one. The Chiefs, they're not the Chiefs of the past. They look pretty good against the Ravens in the opening day game. Chiefs over the last couple seasons. They struggled early, not this season. They were good in that game. They could probably play a lot better in this one. This is kind of like a respect me kind of play, and I'm going to take the Chiefs -6 as the play here. The Bengals, they looked horrible in the opening day game, and then the first thing they did was talk about how they're the team to fear in the AFC. I don't know who came up with this saying, but whenever I was in high school playing football, our head coach would always say, "Show me, don't tell me. Show me, don't tell me." That goes a long way. And right now, the Bengals, they're all talk. They can't do anything on the field. So until we see Joe Burrow and company play a very good game, I can't back them in this one. Also, we have Joe Burrow barely being able to pick up a water ball. Not entirely sure if he's injured or what, but that was a pretty bad video to see. He claims he's perfectly fine. His wrist, hand, whatever it was, he says it's not hurt, but the video evidence says otherwise. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. This is kind of a personal game to them, I think. This one's going to mean a little bit more to the Arrowhead fans. It's going to mean a little bit more to Big Red on the sideline. And most importantly, it's going to mean a little bit more to Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback we've seen since Tom Brady, probably better than Brady when his career's over. Give me the Chiefs. -6 of the play. I think they stomp all over them. Bengals, they get a sad touchdown late in the game. Final score 17-31. Let's go over to the player props for tomorrow. We have 2 quarterback plays, 1 running back play, which will be the last game. But we're going to start with a fantastic matchup here between the Commanders and the Giants. This is quite possibly the best game on the slate on Sunday, as 2 teams who are known for their high-scoring offenses are going head-to-head here. We're going to be taking Jaden Daniels, the rookie, the 2nd overall pick in the draft, to score a rushing touchdown in this game, plus 125 to get himself in the end zone. I think if you're a Commanders fan, you're really impressed with what you saw out of Jaden Daniels. I've never met a Commanders fan, but I'm sure there's some of you guys out there. Last game, 184 passing yards, had himself 2 rushing touchdowns, completed over 70% of his passes in the game. So he's definitely not a bad quarterback. He looked pretty good in that opener. The problem was the defense. They couldn't stop anybody, and I don't know if the Giants are going to be able to stop Jaden Daniels in this game. We should see him have a pretty good one. I also like that Jaden Daniels is more of a run-first kind of guy. He reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson just by his movements. Also reminds me a lot of that quarterback. If you guys watch college football on Thursday night, UNLV, they played Kansas. That guy's name is Matt Sluka. He was coming out of the Patriot League, out of Holy Cross. He played Thursday night going up against Kansas. He had like 150 yards on the ground. But what both of those guys did and what Lamar does, if there's nothing down the field, he's just going to take off. We saw that a ton against the Buccaneers. The 2 rushing touchdowns last week was really nice to see. A couple really good drives for him and the Commanders last week. I think we're going to see him improve even more this week going up against the Giants. So I'm going to take him over 0.5 anytime touchdowns as the play there. For the next play, we're going to be looking at another quarterback, short, sweet, and to the point here. Malik Willis, over 1 interception, -130 going up against the Colts. If you've seen Malik Willis play, you know that this is going to be a good play to take. Even if it doesn't hit, I think he'd be a fool not to put some money on this one. His stats in the top right corner from game number 1 going up against the Eagles, he went in for 1 play, Hail Mary. All the guy had to do was throw the ball in the end zone 50 yards, and he took a sack and a 3-man rush. If you've watched him play several games for the Titans last year, I believe he played in 4 or 5 games. He never went over 100-plus passing yards in any of those games. So far in the NFL, he's been a walking mistake maker. He was really good in college. It just didn't translate over to the NFL. I don't think he's going to make a lot of good throws in this game. I think the Packers will most likely be playing from down as well, so that's going to force him to make a lot of throws. Give me his over 0.5 interceptions. He's going to make a mistake. And for the last play today, we're going to be looking at J.K. Dobbins with the Chargers to find the end zone. That's going to be plus 120 going up against the Carolina Panthers. And if you watched the Panthers last week, I'm sorry for you. They allowed 180 rushing yards to the Saints, and it could have been a lot worse. The Saints kind of pulled up a little bit. I've already talked about the Chargers. The new identity of this team is to dominate the line of scrimmage and hand it off to the running backs. We saw that all last week against the Raiders. Dobbins last week, 135 yards, had himself a rushing touchdown. It's only 10 carries in that game. We should see him have 15 plus in this one against the Panthers front 4. And again, the best Panthers defensive lineman is going to be out for this game. He's out for the entire season. So I love J.K. Dobbins here to find the end zone going up against the Panthers. Over 0.5 touchdowns as the play there, plus 120. Let's go over to the other plays and then the recap graphic. The first other play, we've got the Colts minus 2.5 going up against the Packers. Again, we have Malik Willis on the field for the Packers. We have Anthony Richardson on the field for the Colts, and I think that's where I can really stop breaking this game down. The only concern I have in this game is at the front 4 for the Colts, because they allowed Joe Mixon and the Houston Texans to run all over them, and then they might let Josh Jacobs do the same thing in this game. However, you do have Malik Willis on the other side, who's probably going to have a couple turnovers by himself, so I do think the Colts are going to be in plus position a lot in this game. Anthony Richardson has an incredible arm. You might have a couple more long balls in this game for the Colts, but Jonathan Taylor, still a good running back as well. I don't know if the Packers stop the run. This does feel like a trap. I'm going to take the cheese, though, minus 2.5 for the Colts here going up against the Packers. For the next play, Sunday Night Football. I had to break down Sunday Night Football. I'm not as confident in this play as I am for the others, but it's going to be the standalone game, so we got to break it down. The Texans, they look pretty good against the Colts. They moved the ball all over the field, but the Texans' defense, they allowed a lot of big plays at the Colts in that game. Caleb Williams was not good going up against the Titans. Did not have over 100 passing yards, but the one thing that Caleb Williams did do was protect the ball. He had no turnovers in that game. And if you watch the second half, you saw the Bears defense, you saw the Bears special teams, who are going to be really good this season. They picked Caleb Williams up, they picked that offense up, they won the game outright. I do think Caleb Williams is going to be better in this game going up against that Texans defense, but I really just want him to not turn the ball over. And I think the Bears got a good chance to win this game. I'll take the points here, plus 6.5 with the Bears. I think they're a fun team to watch. I think they're going to be fun the entire season. And as you remember from the last breakdown, I do think Caleb Williams will find a way to be successful in the NFL. So I'm going to take the Bears here, plus 6.5 as the play. Let's take a look at the recap. We've got the Chargers, minus 4.5. Over 47.5 in that Rams-Cardinals game. Chiefs, minus 6 against the Bengals. Colts, minus 2.5, and the Bears, plus 6.5. We've got 2 anytime touchdown. J.K. Dobbins and Jaden Daniels, and then Malik Willis, over 0.5 interceptions going up against the Colts. Guys, it's going to do it for the NFL Plays and Props for Sunday, September 15th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.